Welcome to Business Spotlight on Money Radio WPSE. Business Spotlight is heard weekly at this time on 1450 AM and 107.1 FM. Today's guest is Christopher Oyesiku, a software integrations development and business intelligence team lead at Logistics Plus. Chris, could you tell us about your background and history with Logistics Plus?
I have been at Logistics Plus 12 years now, give or take. Started off in May of 2006. Before that, I had worked for another small software development company here in Erie that was contracting with Logistics Plus and doing a little bit of work for Logistics Plus. I did a stint there for about 6 months, and from there transitioned over here to LP. Started off as an application developer here. Was the only application developer at the time. And over the years, the team has kind of expanded a little bit, and now we are, software development, integration, onshore, offshore team, plus the business intelligence. We are 15 strong right now and 3 vacancies. So if anyone's looking for the job, they can always send in a resume.
So Chris, during your time at Logistics Plus, how much growth have you seen?
Some of the growth. So at the time in which I joined the company, was 10 years old already. So I didn't live through, if you ever talk to Jim, he'll tell you about the trailer days. I never actually saw the Boston store offices. By the time I joined Logistics Plus, we were already rooted here at Union Station. But interesting story, we were halfway through our 3rd floor. You being here, you kind of know what the layout of the building is. And now we are all the way wrapped around the 3rd floor, completely full on the 2nd floor, full on the other side on the very end of the building, and looking to take up another office somewhere in the middle of the building.
Chris, it seems there's no end in sight.
We have been very fortunate that we have had year-over-year growth at Logistics Plus. And some years up to 50% year-over-year growth. There were the lean years, and we went through the Great Recession. We were not completely immune from that, but we've been very fortunate. And I think one of the things that just sets us apart as an organization overall is we have a very bad habit of not being able to say no. We always try to figure it out. It's like, you have a problem, we'll figure it out. So it's funny because very recently, Jim, I wouldn't say it's so not too recent, but Jim calls us now a logistics solutions company. So if you have a problem, we'll find a solution to it. We don't just necessarily just move your freight only, but we can solve some very unique problems, and we are solving some very unique problems for some of our clients.
Chris, is your success attributed to the fact that you put your clients' needs first?
Yep, pretty much. Because, this is business 101 for most businesses. No clients, no business. It just goes without saying. And in the world in which we live in today, it's a very competitive space, right? The supply chain solutions, the freight, the 3PL brokerage, the freight business, very cutthroat in the sense that everyone's trying to get a piece of that pie. And the mainline carriers generally want to have most of that pie to themselves. So it's a very, very tight, it's a very competitive space, and we absolutely have to set ourselves apart. So at one point in time, you might have been able to set yourself apart by cutting your prices and being the cheapest guy on the market. Generally doesn't get you only so far, right? After you hit a certain point, which everyone's gotten to, you gotta have something else that distinguishes you. So while we might not be the bottom of the barrel price, what you do get in addition to the logistics of the supply chain services that we provide you is that plus that we have in our company name. And that's just that added touch. You have very good, skilled people doing what they do best with your best interest at heart. Just getting the job done, regardless of what it takes. One of my favorite stories in our history that we've been here, we once had a client who needed to get a particular product or part out to the United Kingdom, to the UK. So it was Friday, I think it was about Thursday or Friday. I think it was a Friday afternoon, give or take. They needed the part by Monday. Otherwise, they're going to have a production line shutdown. And if I'm remembering the story correctly, FedEx couldn't do it, UPS couldn't get it there in time, so we had somebody here put in the plus again in logistics, dig their passport out, jump on a plane, fly to the UK, deliver the part, spend a day or two, turn around, came right back. But that's what we do.
You were the primary architect of eShip Plus North American TMS. Can you tell our listeners what that software is and the significance of it to Logistics Plus?
When I started at the company, we were very heavy in the brokerage business. And my manager at the time had grown with the company from even earlier on, and we were running essentially some of our back-end work in Access. Right? Every growing company, you grow with the tools that you have. So when I joined the company, I started working on a project called LP Ops at the time. And LP Ops is eventually evolved. At that same time, an outside company had created the first version of our Issue Plus software. So we had two systems simultaneously running, one that was for the back office stuff and one that was customer facing. Over the years, we then decided to merge those two systems, which is what has become our Issue Plus application today in its fourth generation. So what eShip does for us is, being a transportation management system, allows us to do our brokerage work. So customers, we're able to set up rates and tariffs for individual customers, and with some discounting and things of that nature. Customers are able to log in, put in their shipping parameters, get instant rates for their shipping on their freight, and book the freight right there and there, which then communicate, that system then alerts our backroom staff and our logistics specialists that new shipment is in. The system actually does notify also our carriers, sends out information to them, or we have a logistics specialist dispatch the shipment, sometimes through the system, sometimes they have other means by which they do that, relationships with terminals and things of that nature. And we manage the entire life cycle of the shipment right in that system. So from the rating, the scheduling, the tracking, all the way down to the delivery and then invoicing of the customer, all happens within the system. Over the years, it's done pretty well. It's in its fourth generation, which is about 6 years old now. We're actually in the process of creating the fifth generation of this. We probably run, give or take, somewhere between 40, maybe $50 million worth of business through it a year, because that's most of our domestic operations from all our locations. Primarily Erie, Dallas, Lexington, all run through this platform.
Can you comment on your role of managing major customer integrations at Logistics Plus?
That's always a fun one, because every customer that we bring on is different, because again, we never can say no. So we try to meet the customer at their point of need. And because most customers are different, their point of needs are all different. And we don't have a one-size-fits-all type solution approach. As a result, we do small integrations with very big customers, integrations as simple as exchanging flat files over SFTP, or we do full-blown integrations which can involve EDI communication, electronic data interchange, the ANSI standards. We're working on an EDIFACT standard integration right now. We've done web services, APIs, integrations, and so we do it all. If it's there to be done and the opportunity is there, myself and my team are able to actually do that. So they're challenging, they're all different, but we leverage our expertise to make sure that we are not always recreating the wheel every time, and we're able to abstract and model some things so that they are reusable from client to client. And I think we've kind of done that. We've hit a sweet spot recently in just creating those, what we like to call processors, and they process client data, convert it into what we need to go into our systems to facilitate the services that we provide, and they extract data, package it right back for the client, and send it back to the client in what it is that they need. So we have quite a bit of those that we run, but they perform their task pretty well.
Chris, can you describe the role of your business intelligence team within LP?
So the BI team, business intelligence team, is fairly young compared to the rest of the company. It's only the whole group as a whole is only three years old. Currently comprises four individuals, and myself making the fifth. We have kind of been thrust a little into the forefront of a lot of things that we're doing now. For the longest time, it was service, just get it there. But we now live in a data-driven society. And part of the role of that team is to do some reporting, do some analytics on the data that we have, but we also have as core of what we're trying to drive at Logistics Plus right now, which is getting the company to be a little more data literate, understanding that every piece of data is important. So from the operator who might think that little insignificant piece of data that was not put into that text box was not going to cause any troubles downstream, getting them to understand that you're missing tracking date, if that was ever missing, causes some major problems downstream. Is one of the core things that we're trying to do. Being that the group is so young and we're very early stages of that process, one of the first major things that we have done is data cleanup, for example, going back through and looking at historical data and identifying pain points in that historical data and cleaning that up. And we just successfully completed that. But that team is very much responsible right now for some of the business opportunities that we're chasing, because they all come with the caveat of reporting, analytics. I need to be able to see what's going on with my information. That's information here being, I want to see what's going on in real time with my freight in your warehouse, with my freight that's on the move in terms of tracking. I'd like some intelligence on how much business am I doing with you? How much freight am I moving with you? Who are the best performing carriers? Who are not the best performing carriers? What are my best performing lanes? Can you give me any insight into potential troubled spots? And we actually even go as far as, where are we having misses and why are we having those misses? Shipments not picking up on time. Why are they not picking up on time? Why are they not delivering on time? And to just keep our performance and our service levels really high.
Chris, you recently received the honor of being chosen as a distinguished alumni member at Edinburgh University. Can you share what that honor meant to you?
Proud moment. Wasn't really expecting it. Apparently, I have some relationship down in Edinburgh, and apparently they knew about it, but they kept it very, very quiet and wink. And when I contacted them about it, they all gave me the wink, wink look. Very proud moment. That's my alma mater. I'm an alumni of Edinburgh University. Went down there for computer science, graduated with high honors from the program. I still keep in touch with the program. Most of the software development interns that I have that come from Edinburgh University, bar none. And that's not necessarily because I'm biased against any other programs that are out here, but I know the quality of the program at Edinburgh in terms of programming. I'm very proud of it. I'm a product of it. So having been recognized by the school was a very proud moment for me.
Chris, can you discuss the evolution of the technology team at Logistics Plus since you arrived in 2006, and how far have you come?
So, as I mentioned, IT was 3 people strong before I joined. There was a lead hardware guy, system administrator. He had a junior administrator with him, support. I had a software development manager, and then I joined as the application developer. Since then, we have added a CIO. IT has added 3 silos. 3 silos. We have our infrastructure and architecture group, support group, and they are 4 strong right now. There is software development, integrations, and business intelligence. We are 15 strong locally here, as well as having 3 vacancies right now. And plus myself, that makes would make 19 strong when we're fully staffed. And we have our ERP support group that is 4 strong right now, with a lot of overseas, about 10 strong, just support entry analysts that work on different projects overseas. So we've grown a lot over the last 10 years. Evolving, it was being the only application developer at the time, I had to wear those many hats. But over the years, my particular group has grown. Initially, we had one other developer who joined, who was who was like a colleague. He eventually transitioned into what is now the hardware group, the infrastructure support architecture group, and then he since moved on from the company. He actually moved out of town. Then I had 2 junior developers, and we were 2 for a little while. Then we added some overseas support. So now my team, the business intelligence software development integration team, is spread. So we have 4 full-time developers in the Ukraine. We have 2 UI UX specialists in Bulgaria. We have 1 lead here, 2 developers here. We carry 2 or 3 interns, give or take, at any given point in time. And I have myself over here, and I've got 3 vacancies. Business intelligence team actually has 4 now. Actually, we're 4 strong there. One of my vacancies is for business intelligence. I have another vacancy for software developer and the software development lead. But grown leaps and bounds over the time. I've seen our technology use expand also. We've implemented our capital ERP system. We've grown from just having eShip Plus in its first and early days and its various incantations to what it is today. We have other platforms that we're running. We have our custom HR system, which we developed for our specific needs, even though we leverage an off-the-shelf package for other HR-related functions. We have another platform, mylogisticsplus.net, which is kind of our 4PL custom application development area where we create our unique custom solutions for both internal clients and external clients if our capital ERP system is not able to quite handle that very finicky requests that we get from our clients. So a lot of growth, a lot of changes over the years, a lot of new technologies that we've tapped into, and we're still looking to continue to improve and to grow in the future. Now we are considering things like blockchain. We are looking at going from monolithic application paradigms and thinking into more distributed application paradigms and thinking. We implemented our business intelligence tools. We're looking at going more cloud-based. So leveraging the strength of the technology landscape that's out there. There's a lot of new technology out there, and part of my responsibility is to take a look at some of those and how they will best fit or best propel LP to be ready for the future.
Chris, could you ever foresee this kind of growth?
Everybody wants the company to grow, right? That's always you never join a company with the thought of, well, it's never going to grow. This is right where it's going to be. This is as good as it gets. But to actually see the rate of growth and the accelerated growth and some of the clients that we're working with is really, really interesting. Jim likes to say we're punching above our weight, and I'm inclined to agree with him a lot in a lot of places. We have clients, big name clients. GE's been a client for forever. We have Google on board now. We're doing work with Amazon. We have WeWork as a client. And these are just some of the big names that have been thrown around in the industry today. You see them on the news very often. So we are playing in spaces with other companies that are 10 times, 20 times as large as we are. And technology has played a very big part in propelling us there, but we also have some very good people doing the work.
Chris, what sort of demands do your clients now expect from your technology team at Logistics Plus today, and how has it changed since you arrived in 2006?
So in 2006, it was all internal clients for the most part. Our ERP, our TMS, eShip Plus, was the outward-facing platform that we had, and the needs were simple. I need to get in, I need to put my freight details in, I need to get a rate, I need to book my shipment. Today, there's the demand for analytics I mentioned earlier on, business intelligence. Today, there's a demand for quicker turnaround on very custom solutions. Today, there's a higher demand for integration. Nobody wants to have a room full of data entry clerks. Nobody wants to be a data entry clerk any longer. We have automation for that. I want to be able to send you data. I want you to be able to receive my data, send me data. I need to be able to receive your data. We need to get our computer systems talking. And everybody has got a different computer system. And even when you have the same computer systems or platforms, we've implemented them differently because platforms are getting more robust to meet your specific needs now. We're all evolving in that space. So we find that our clients are looking for more technology integration as we're going around. It's no longer enough to just add headcount. There has to be that integration that goes along with it. It's part of the reason why we have gone from being a software development group to a software development and integrations group, because integrations is now just a key part. But our clients are also looking for software solutions that we create that does the need that meets the need that they have, regardless of what that need might be. We have clients that we're doing freight audit payments for. They want to be able to get into the system. They want to be able to see what's going on with their shipments. They want to be able to see, are my invoices here yet? Are my invoices approved? Have my invoices been paid? They want to see all of that, and technology is what's driving that. So those expectations have now, at one point in time, they were the plus in logistics. Now they are the norm, and we have now got to go one more step further in order to add more value-added services like that for our clients.
What do you think the future holds for technology when it comes to servicing your clients at even higher levels?
It's going to be getting really, really smart, or much smarter, in the way in which we interact with clients. Like I mentioned just a moment ago, nobody wants to have a room full of data entry clerks any longer. I want my system to seamlessly talk to your system, and your system to seamlessly give me what it is that I need. So for me, I generally see a lot of integration, a lot of some of the buzzwords in the industry right now is data scientists and big data. Seeing a lot of crunching of big data, of extracting analytics out of that data, insights out of that data to tell us things that we did not know, which is usually the most difficult things to identify. But that's the reason why they come to us. Everybody can call FedEx, UPS, Estes, and say, I have a shipment, come move it for us. But those insights that we're able to extract and that expertise is where I see our technology platform really playing a role. Being able to support our operations specialists, being able to support our sales teams. Part of the drive of the analytics team, I think I touched on this a little bit earlier, is that ability to extract those insights that say, well, the great example that I like to use is you have a client that's out on the West Coast and on the East Coast, and that client is doing $1 million worth of business with you every year. That's fantastic. So year over year, you have that client now do $1.2 million worth of business. That's even better. You're doing more business with the client. But insights from the analytics allows you to see that, wait a minute, there was a spike in growth on the West Coast from $500,000 to $750,000. But there was a significant drop on the East Coast from $500,000 down to $200,000 or $300,000 or something of that nature. And just looking at total numbers allows you to say, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Having insight says, I've done better on the West Coast, but I've lost business on the East Coast. What happened? Was there a catastrophic event that happened, or somebody else coming in and undercutting me? I need to make a courtesy call to say, hey, client, we noticed that business kind of dropped off on the East Coast a little bit. What's going on? Is there any way we can help or allow us to be very proactive as opposed to being reactive, which we had been for a few years, but we're getting to a place where we're becoming a little more proactive, being able to identify those trends. And technology is only going to help us do that more effectively, because it just takes a long time for a human being to sit down there by themselves and crunch numbers and look for those insights and look for those trends. Technology that we either develop or we leverage pulls those out for us using artificial intelligence algorithms and says, hey, did you know this happened? And that allows us to then react and make the necessary adjustments to continue to be successful in the future.
Chris, how important is the IT department at Logistics Plus when it comes to customer service?
It's funny because I was just in a conversation just yesterday, and I was explaining that IT started off as a cost center. It's a support staff, right? We're here to make sure stuff is running while the sales team and the service reps are doing their thing, bringing in money in the door. We have since transitioned into being a critical piece of everything that we do, business that we chase down, internationally, nationally, and even in our region. The tools that we create are used worldwide. The tools that we leverage are used worldwide. We have hundreds of people touching our tools. One very unique solution that we had created, we have a client who has a lot of freight that needs to be staged and moved around and received at various locations. Well, at each one of those locations there, we have them as virtual warehouses for us, but you cannot possibly send out scan guns to every one of those locations. So we created a mobile application that takes care of that for us. Mobile applications are all the rage today. Everybody has an Android phone or an Apple device. Download the app, do what you need to do. It talks back to our servers and our systems here, and the world is a happier place. Our client is happy. So IT has now become, to some degrees, a revenue generator for the company, because we are right there in the conversations. We are right there in the bidding process. We are right there in the RFPs and the proposals in a bid to distinguish ourselves from some of the older competitors that are on the market. And being the way that we do our business, we tend to be very flexible. Part of the reason for that flexibility, besides the great people that we have working here, is the IT support that we have, and IT being right there on the forefront.
Chris, congratulations on being a new father. Another future member of the Logistics Plus technology team?
Potentially, yeah. I'm trying to convince my boss to get me a couple laptops so I can get the kids going. It's like, hey, and get them early before they change their minds.
Chris, any final words on your role and the many departments you work with and oversee at Logistics Plus?
Can't say enough good things about the folks that we have here. I mean, we are a small team. when you compare us to some of the bigger partners that are out there, the FedExes, the UPSs, the Echo Logistics. I mean, we are minute, but we most definitely punch way above our weight class. We shoulder some very interesting solutions, and for those clients who know us, they know that we are really good at what we do. For those who give us a chance, they won't be disappointed. We generally like to come in and partner with you as opposed to being a vendor of yours. We want to partner with you so that your pain points become our pain points, and we look to solve them.
Thanks for listening to Business Spotlight on Money Radio WPSE. Business Spotlight is heard Fridays at noon. Join us again next week as Roland Financial is in the Business Spotlight.